Thank you. Good to see you all. It's nice to be with you in the face-to-face this time. So this project is in collaboration with, the co-authors. I could see Shoei and Joachim online, and I could see Lauren here. So it's really good to see you. As we looked at the medical in medicine, and AI is not, litigation and law is not exception. AI is there, and most of the time you see them used to, automate the routine task and in a low-end task. I'm not saying that it's less complex, but that's what's happening. Even some of the things you see them in the litigation context is like, the smart contracts, and the contracts are like a populated AI, pull out all this information. So what you see less common is that to see the, the AI is used in the work, sort of augment with the lawyer's work, and also to use some sort of a deep learning, complex models. So the interesting thing is that, yesterday we were in the AI panel, most of the time the AI doesn't learn. So what is here is that normally when you do this routine kind of automation, you try to take expertise which is already there, and then you trying to translate into algorithms or rules in the algorithms. And so this, what I call is that sort of the rule-based AI, which is in this particular litigation context, you see, often, so there are a lot of research the lawyers do. As many of you know, lawyers don't sort of take a case and then say that, come up with the arguments in sort of gut feeling, this argument would work. In fact, what they do is they do a lot of research. You could see that they sit down and looking at the decision-making process of judge, and then a lot of those information are what I call is very data intensive, and there are a lot of data points in there. So this is a context which we are focusing on at the moment in the study. So as you're coming back to this rule-based AI, used in this context, for example, so you sort of ask an algorithms to go and find a particular judge, and then who's used a certain kind of textbook or something like that. Very, very simple kind of this. You can put them in the code, and then when you look in the algorithms, you could see how those rules are embedded in the system. So that put a little screenshot of the Python code in this particular thing. And then if you go into sort of the deep learning kind of AI, the questions you ask are quite complex. So it's, for example, in what paragraph was factual witness evidence presented, and then it evidence, doubted by the judge. There's no rules, for these kind of things. So the system they were designing is that able to, we could able to train it through, labeling those judgment documents, and then training data. So I'll come to that soon. So that is the sort of the second, the one I'm going to be focusing. And so take another example. So the question is, did the judge cite multiple reasons for coming to a decision? So it is again, so you ask this question, and then you're giving this judgment files, and then it goes through the thing. They come with the answer saying that yes, paragraph 51 and 52. So when the first time it did it, the lawyers were quite surprised. And then they said, in fact, that it was finding more documents, more kind of things than the human could do it, or the accuracy was much increased. So they were asking, so tell us, how does this work? How do you get this working? So we couldn't able to explain, but we could able to show the paragraph. So this is the paragraph that the AI picked it up and it was correct. And why it picked up this paragraph? Yes, thanks. So I mean, you could see a lot of keywords. We can use the heat map to sort of show where AI is focusing when it's doing this. And then, so that's all. So it is, in fact, it's quite opaque. I mean, you can't explain to, the lawyers can't learn from the system what is the, how that AI is doing this task. So I mean, so we've been looking at various angles. I mean, one of the ways that we were trying to look at it is that how the sort of the data scientists and the domain experts cope with this the opacity problem in this tailoring AI. So I mean, so if you most of the use context we're looking at it, but the tool making context of AI, it's not been seen. It's a very complex process of training these algorithms. So what we were quite fortunate to have that access to this particular company, which we did a sort of a 22 months ethnography, looking at I mean, from the inception of this idea of what they wanted to do in this law firm. And so it started with a sort of a funded project from university. So we were looking at this process from the beginning and also involved in it as one of the academic was a participant observer. And so that they hired the sort of a PhD data scientist to develop this model. And then the lawyers, they were the firms, and they also hired some different lawyers to particularly to train the model. And then, of course, we went through these interviews and observation and various things. And then, so what did they really do in this, or did in the context? So, like many other systems, you see that they started with a pre-trained AI, natural language processing model, and then it was trained by the Google. so it could able to understand the basic the language and kind of things, but not anything specific about the law context. So the way that they were seeing that they want to graduate this undergraduate through the law school, so that was the aim. So what they started doing is they were initially that during the project, they're doing something like 500, 600 judgment files, all being labeled by the experts to show the AI what we are looking for, and then so we did that, and then after that, of course, the previous things, the process, you train, and then you check the data, you implement, tune the system, and all the process were going on. So that was the basic. Okay, I just wrap it up. So that was okay. So what I'm sort of finding, it's quite easy to sort of come with a process model, what the process is, but it wasn't, we did it, and we couldn't get much further with the review process because it's not too unique in that way. I mean, of course, there are some different challenges, but what is more interesting here is that how the AI become a kind of an expert in this. So what I mean, I know that there's a lot of literature, machine agency and kind of thing. So I don't want to go into that. It is more about the data scientists have two experts to deal with that. Both are opaque in the sense they didn't know anything about the lawyers and they didn't know anything about the algorithms. And then, so we sort of moved from initially we had AI in the middle, now we moved the data scientists in the middle. They are the ones struggling to get this. So, I mean, there are so many things to study about, and opacity is so fascinating, all of us. How do we study this? And also that, we started looking at through this knowledge perspective. And also there's a lot of other perspectives you could be able to look at it. And so what is interesting here is that the tool making part of it, okay, the tool use, and then so the process of training this AI itself is a very complex and very interesting process, and especially for this kind of a high knowledge intensive context. And just to wrap it up with some sort of the challenges, which is quite mirroring with Kate's talk about. I mean, of course, the interesting thing I highlighted here is that one of the so the lawyers were asking for, say, you know, what is more interesting for them is the sort of unusual things. So the things which are decisions that are unusual and also, you know, non-frequent. But the problem is, this is where the data scientists say, okay, give me more data of it. I mean, that's a part of the things where you don't have any data previously. So this is always the kind of a, you know, the dilemma they were facing. Anyway, so I'll stop at that. I think I ran out of my time. So thank you very much.